Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back to another vlog from Vlog Corner here on a Wednesday night. Here at about 11:20. Hello everybody. Welcome back. Um, I'm gonna do a midweek catch up next week. Because I wanted to continue a little bit more about my idea, you know, entertainment, gaming, and all that other sort of stuff. So I wanted to stay away from the vlog today because today I was off, so I don't have any stories about work or April or anything. So I'm just going to tell you that this is probably going to be either internet related or gaming related or movie related or something like that, because I have to change up my content because it seems every time I'll talk about work once in a while here and there, but I want to dedicate a couple of these vlogs to entertainment based stuff, because you guys are probably wondering, what are my interests, or what am I into in terms of entertainment. So for those of so as I've just revealed in my last vlog, I'm into Dragon Ball. You guys probably known that for a while. I have a lot of the manga from different eras. I actually have a couple 3-in-1 Dragon Ball mangas that I'm currently reading and I'm currently interested in. But I want to tell you guys my now I know there's 24 of them, and 24 of them, and they've all had their controversies and they've all had their own moments, but I wanted to tell you guys, my interest in the 007 series. So I want to tell you guys my top 5 favorite James Bond movies of all time. So this is my own personal list. This is not expertly driven advice or insight or anything, because I just go into the movie theater and I watch the film. So my top 5 favorite James Bond movies of all time. So at number 5, I'm going to go 5 to 1. At number 5, and it doesn't mean, and just because I put it at number 5 doesn't mean it's any better than the rest. So at number 5, I'm going to put Casino Royale from Daniel Craig's era. The reason why Casino Royale is important on number 5 is because it's the first Bond movie I ever watched in theaters. When I was growing up, I really didn't go see the James Bond movie. So back when I was old enough, about 97, 98, I really wasn't old enough to watch. I wasn't old enough to watch. I wasn't old enough to watch The World Is Not Enough or Tomorrow Never Dies or GoldenEye, because I was only a little kid back then, and I don't think my parents wanted me to watch violent movies back then, and everything. So Casino Royale is number 5. Probably one of my favorites in terms of story and and for Daniel Craig's first foray into the series, it was pretty darn good. I mean, the action was good, the acting was great, the story at the end was kind of sad. Watching Eva Green's character Vesper Lynd die, unfortunately, and drown, so to speak. But we got to see Craig in his first movie. It was pretty good, and I always liked it for its action sequences and everything. It was kind of the rough introduction of Daniel Craig, because he kind of starts out rough in the movie, and then he turns it into the brilliant super spy that we all know today. Unfortunately, his tenure's been kind of riddled with problems, and Bond 25 seems to be riddled with problems as well. But anyway, so number four on my list of Bond movies is actually, I'm actually going to go way back into the 70s and Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's first Bond movie. The reason why this plays significance is because the story was kind of cool, and to see Roger for the first time and kind of see him portray the role of 007 for the first time. He actually had a very unique storyline, and it was, it kind of blended in with what was happening at the time, and a cool title sequence. Paul McCartney and the Wings did the song for the title sequence. Some really good boat chases. Not a lot of car chases, but a lot of good boat chases. Everything because it's set in Louisiana. Spoilers if you don't seen it. Number three. Has to be Goldfinger. A lot of people are probably like, "Oh, why isn't this number one?" Goldfinger, for me, was absolutely probably one of my favorite Bond movies. It actually kind of got me into the whole gadgetry, cars, and super spy thing, because everybody knows that GoldenEye was the movie that introduced the 1965, well, not the 1965, the 1964 Aston Martin DB5, which is infamous throughout the whole series. And it's probably James Bond fan's dream car to either look at or have a chance to see. Now, I've never seen a DB5 in person, and I've never driven one. But it had a good story and everything. It was kind of the middle of 007's career, well, the original 007 Sean Connery, because Sean Connery was pretty darn good throughout some sequences, and it has to be said that it was kind of the standard for it. Kind of set the standard for what Bond movies were supposed to be. So, and it, the gadgets, the car, the women, like a good portion of the whole the cast that were women were blonde. So, including Honor Blackman's character. Actually, all the names of all the girls were kind of risque anyway. So, that was kind of putting it out there a little bit for those of you who are knowing the Bond movie. For those of you, the girls' names are a little on the risque side. That weren't so bad in the 70s, but in the 60s, that was kind of cutting edge. That was the most eye-opening thing. You listen to all the. I mean, the girl in the second Bond movie, that's one thing. The first one in the first Bond movie, Honey Rider, not too bad, because she was kind of a sweet girl and everything. First kind of a break-in, but the problem was Honor Blackman's character, Pussy Galore. The name was kind of pushing it at the time, but it was the envelope pusher back then, and to be honest, it was a few guys. I will tell you, my uncle, one time, I think it was my uncle Bill, said that when that name got said in the movie theater, every guy's jaw in the movie dropped. Everybody's like, wow, this is a Bond movie, and they choose that name. I'm like, you know. But, they've got, I mean, just... I mean, there's a couple of names in the Bond movies later in the 70s that they got away with, but you guys will always know. You guys will know from time to time. And some of the jokes, well, I was part of the innuendo was always part of the series, unfortunately. But it was what made the series the series. Number two on my list. In terms of all the Bond movies that were made while Doctor No, I couldn't not say this because this was the first Bond movie ever, and the story may have been a little dry at the beginning, but they, it introduced you to the series. It introduced you just how good the character was. Sean Connery did an amazing job on his debut, and the Bond girl, I'm forgetting her name now because it's misfiring, but it all came into place. Everything was all good. I mean, a lot of the stuff Sean did back then in that first movie was fun. Sean was always an interesting character because he was sweet to the girls when he was sweet and kind to the girls, but he was always physical, and he was always physical and kind of the animal type to his enemies. So he kind of had the dual side to him. That's why they called him Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, because out in the Far East. So, and my first ever Bond movie ever that I liked, and one that I actually liked because it was more my era, and it was produced when I was actually a kid, actually 6 years after. I was actually only 6 years old when it came out, but it was the Bond movie that kind of brought Bond out of the Stone Age from the 80s and everything, because the last Bond movie ever made was in 1989. So the Bond movie that I'm speaking of would be GoldenEye. The reason why GoldenEye is such a big one is because it's the first proper modern Bond movie that I watched. You Only Live Twice was the first Bond movie I ever watched ever. It's kind of an honorable mention, but GoldenEye had it all. It had the political intrigue. It had some great locales, some great action. The women in it were modern as well, very strong-willed and very and everything. And some of the it was just right after the Cold War, so it was a huge thing for American fans because Russia, everybody kind of associates Russia with the Cold War and all the hostilities. And it was Pierce Brosnan's debut. So, and he did a great, and his debut was absolutely awesome. So yeah. So yeah, that's my top 5 Bond movies, actually. Top 5 Bond movies, actually, and I liked them, and I like these 5. Now, if I could rank all 25, that would take me way too long, but those are my top 5 and everything. So there's going to be some political changes with the Me Too stuff. in the next one, so that'll be interesting. But since I'm a forward-thinking guy, maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe we'll get to see things a little differently. But yeah, that is going to be my spiel for this evening and this vlog. So everybody, today is June 18th. No, June 19th, 2018, here for the air entry 953. Peace out, everybody. Oh, yeah, and long live America, God bless America, and long live democracy, long live the Second Amendment, long live the First Amendment, long live this great nation, long live my grandparents' spirits, both of them. Pray for Tom, Megan, April, and Toriel G. Thank you for the support. With all your successes and all your endeavors. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.